Now, bureaucrats know how to have a good time, don't they? Well, actually, mostly it's by stopping you from having a good time. In New South Wales, they're considering extraordinary laws to ban premixed drinks that they consider to be too tasty. The draft guidelines take aim at drinks which combine alcohol with popular soft drinks, particularly, quote unquote, if the taste of alcohol is masked and the flavour of the non-alcohol branded product is prominent. Now, I had to laugh at one industry source who told the Saturday Telegraph that this decision empowers unelected bureaucrats to become pseudo-taste police, cruising the aisles of the local bottle-o and banning drinks they decide are too fun. And that's essentially what they are suggesting, Evelyn, is that they will be able to say, if you used to be hard solo, now it's called hard rated because they thought the kids were going to buy the hard solo. So if someone goes, bureaucrat taste, it goes, well, it tastes too much like lemonade. Oh, you can't possibly have that. Kids cannot just walk into a bottle-o and buy a product that is for people over the age of 18. What do they think they are actually stopping here, except you from being able to choose what you want to drink?
Yeah, I'd like to know who's deciding what's too sweet and what's too tasty. Like, who's the arbiter of that truth? I mean, a female, like, would more likely find things, you know, not as sweet as perhaps a male, you know. So it's like, who's it going to be? Because, but this is ridiculous. You know what? This is actually our fault. This is voters' fault. We 100%. Have allowed our politicians to think that they own us instead of reminding them in the voting booths that they work for us. And this is the problem. The nanny state strikes again. I've said this before, and I apologise in advance, Caleb. Govern me harder, Daddy. That is the mentality of Australia.
The viewers love it every time you say it.
Can I just read a quote that I thought was really apt about this? I saw this on the internet. It says, Australians love to be regulated by the government. Personal responsibility terrifies them. Liberty, many think, is just an American value. You know, Australians just want the government to keep them safe so they can relax, enjoy their sports, beers and beaches. It's why so many people loved the COVID mandates. They never felt so safe and protected. And it's why we keep voting for the same useless politicians. The convict spirit lives on, and the invisible chains are hard to break because they are self-imposed. And until we say no to daddy government, they will continue to treat us like children. It's up to us to put them back in their rightful place, which is below the citizen.
That is very true. In fact, the Lane Cove Tunnel, which was just completed this century, has a sign at the entrance of it that says no horse-drawn vehicles.
Wow, really?
It's one of my favourite things, and it's absolutely true. It is. We still have a convict mentality, and we think we're laid back and free-wheel, and we're all larrikins, you know, we're all rebels. It's absolutely true. But I have to say, this. I think this particular measure is getting a bad rap because we always say that bureaucrats never show any initiative. Just imagine how popular the guy who came up with this is. Says, Gary, come in my office. I've got a job for you. I want you to go to every single bottle shop in New South Wales and taste every single alcoholic drink and tell me if it's too tasty or not.
Well, I'll sign up for that one and I'll give them the results that they don't want to hear. But seriously, Paul, and you've talked a lot about the tax that exists on spirits in particular. I think you've pulled out the bottle of Bundy
63%, if you grab a bottle of Bundy, 63% of it is tax.
I mean, that's just insane.
Of course, but, you know, I mean, we've allowed... There's two things that are an extension to what we're talking about here. One, somebody has to break it to government that life is a death sentence. Like, we're all going to end up in the same place, right? That, you know, OK, somebody who runs a little more than me probably may run a little further than I will, but guess where we're both headed?
That's right. Now, remember when people said that during COVID and it was like a hate crime? So you realise that we are all, you know, like the 98-year-old in the nursing home.
I know. They're going to die.
This is the point, right, is that we have allowed ourselves to lie to ourselves about how if we do this, it goes on forever, right? At some point in time, it doesn't. That said, the decisions made about this stuff, it's this endless sort of want to save us from a problem that may well exist, but in my view, many of the problems are a result of us not dealing with the individual having the capacity to deal with the things that they have in any one life, right? Now, that means, yes, occasionally there will be some big, broad brushstrokes. But if you don't put yourself into a position that says, oh, look, I know the difference between a little bit of this or too much of that.
Yeah.
Right? When it's the government that's going to turn around and say, I'll decide for you,
Yes.
well, that is a symbol of a whole other thing. And to your point about the political parties, I want parties to test this theory, to stand on it and run, because I think we'd both be frightened at how low their votes are.